Hello and welcome and namaste from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. France's newly appointed Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu quits just a day after appointing his cabinet. Far-right's Marine Le Pen demands holding snap parliamentary elections. The Election Commission of India announces two-phase Bihar Assembly elections. The first phase of polling will be held on the 6th of November and the second on the 11th. Votes will be counted on the 14th of next month. Israel says it has deported 171 Gaza flotilla activists, including Greta Thunberg, as indirect talks between its negotiators with those of Hamas and the US are set to begin in Egypt's Sharm el-Sheikh. And Americans Mary E. Brankow and Fred Ramsdale with Japan's Shimon Sakaguchi bag the Medicine Nobel for their research into how the immune system is kept in check, which could help with certain cancers and other autoimmune diseases. France's newly minted Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu and his government resigned on Monday, hours after Lecornu announced his cabinet lineup, making it the shortest lived in modern French history. The swift resignation was unexpected and marked another major deepening of France's political crisis. It came after allies and foes alike threatened to topple the new government. Speaking after tendering his resignation, Lecornu blamed the collapse on the inability of political parties to compromise.
What matters is what we are going to do, with the humility to accept that something can be done before 2027. Other things will be addressed later during the debate running up to the presidential election. And fundamentally, there are many red lines coming from the mouth of many, at least some, not all, but there are rarely any green lines. Yet the very principle of building a compromise between political parties is to be able to combine green lines while respecting a number of red lines. But we cannot be at both extremes. Some opposition parties have understood this, and I want to thank them. Now we must be able to move forward, or at least those who want to find a path for the country must be able to move forward. One must always put their country before their party and know how to listen to activists, but always think of the French people.
Lecornu was Prime Minister for only 27 days. His government lasted just 14 hours. Macron's opponents immediately tried to capitalize on the shocking resignation with a far-right national rally calling him to either call for new slap elections or resign. On the far left, France Unbowed also asked for Macron's departure. Israel and the Hamas will hold indirect negotiations in Egypt in just a matter of few hours from now, amid hopes for a possible agreement on ending the Gaza conflict based on Donald Trump's ceasefire plan. Trump has promoted a 20-point plan aimed at ending the fighting in Gaza, securing the release of remaining hostages, and defining the territory's future. Israel and the Hamas have agreed to parts of the plan. The Hamas on Friday accepted the hostage release and several other elements, but sidestepped contentious points, including calls for its disarmament, which it has long rejected. Donald Trump welcomed the Hamas' response, saying he believed Hamas had shown it was ready for a lasting peace. He told Israel to stop bombing Gaza immediately, but its attacks on the enclave have continued. And speaking to reporters ahead of the talks, President Trump sounded an optimistic note, saying that he and a lot of the countries surrounding Israel had some very good meetings with the Hamas.
Yeah, we're going to very quickly. We had some very good meetings. The countries of the world, a lot of the countries surrounding Israel, frankly, Muslim, Arab, and many others, have had great meetings with Hamas, and it looks like it's working. So we'll wait for a little while, see how it all turns out.
Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that the responsibility lies with the Hamas to fully accept the peace plan.
Well, we accepted the deal, as did all the world. It was President Trump's plan. Hamas says that it accepted the deal. Now the onus is on Hamas. This plan consists of two parts. The first part is releasing all the hostages. Israel makes a tactical withdrawal, stays in Gaza. And then the second part is meant to demilitarize Gaza and disarm Hamas. That will be negotiated. Of course, I can't tell you if Hamas will agree to it. I think that it's possible. I hope it'll happen, but I can't guarantee that it'll happen. And so if it doesn't happen, what President Trump has said is that he will back Israel completely in acting forcefully against Hamas. Well, let's hope that, that we can finish it the easy way and not the hard way.
Meanwhile, Israel said that it reported on Monday Swedish campaigner Greta Thunberg and another 170 activists from an international flotilla it prevented last week from delivering aid to Gaza, sending them to Greece and Slovakia. Earlier, Swiss and Spanish activists from the flotilla said they were subjected to inhumane conditions during their detention by Israeli forces. Monday's expulsions brought to 341 the total number deported from 479 detained. Israel's foreign ministry issued a statement accompanied by photos of Thunberg at Ben Gurion Airport, saying all participants' legal rights had been upheld and the only violence involved an activist who bit a female medic at Israel's Ketzoit prison. Meanwhile, a day before the conflict's second anniversary, Israelis gathered at the hostages' square in Tel Aviv on Sunday, praying for the return of the hostages. Many in the crowd sat in silence, while others wept or joined chants led from a makeshift stage. It was on the 7th of October in 2023 when the Hamas attacked Israel and it triggered the Gaza conflict. The Hamas killed 1,200 people, mostly civilians, and about 251 were taken hostage. Now, Trump administration officials have issued a warning on Sunday that Americans will increasingly feel the pain of an ongoing U.S. government shutdown. Most federal operations remain shut as no tangible signs of negotiations have emerged between U.S. congressional leaders since Donald Trump met them last week. Take a look.
The Trump administration has warned that it will start mass layoffs of federal workers if the shutdown stalemate persists. As the shutdown entered its fifth day, White House National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett said he still saw a chance that Democrats would back down. Hassett directs the White House's National Economic Council. He has pinned hopes for progress in talks during next week. Talks will center on addressing expiring Obamacare health subsidies. The Senate's Republican Majority Leader acknowledged the two sides were currently at a stalemate. US President Donald Trump said that firing of federal workers is taking place right now as he blamed the shutdown on Democratic lawmakers. Two unions representing federal employees have asked a California federal court to stop the Trump administration from conducting sweeping layoffs that could permanently eliminate jobs deemed non-consistent with President Donald Trump's priorities. The American Federation of Government Employees and the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees argued that a temporary restraining order was necessary to prevent significant harm.
It's taking place right now, and it's all because of the Democrats. The Democrats are causing the loss of a lot of jobs with their, it's a shutdown. It's their shutdown, not our shutdown, it's their shutdown.
No tangible signs of negotiations have emerged between congressional leaders since Trump met with them last week. rank and file Senate Democrats and Republicans have held informal talks aimed at finding common ground on healthcare and other issues in hopes of reaching a deal to reopen the government. On Monday, the Senate is due to vote for a fifth time on the stopgap funding bill that has already passed the Republican controlled House of Representatives and on a Democratic alternative. Bureau Report, DD India.
Russia's defense ministry on Monday said that it downed 251 Ukrainian drones overnight. Ukraine struck the Russian region of Belgorod in an overnight shelling, damaging power infrastructure that left thousands without power. Electricity was restored by Monday morning. And Russia's defense ministry said that its alert systems intercepted and destroyed Ukrainian fixed-wing unmanned aerial vehicles. Dozens more were shot out of the skies over the Kursk and Belgorod regions. Scientists Mary Ibrankau and Fred Rumsdell of the United States, along with Shimon Sakaguchi of Japan, have been awarded this year's Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for their groundbreaking research on how the immune system is regulated. The Nobel Committee recognized the trio for their discoveries in peripheral immune tolerance, a crucial mechanism that prevents the body's immune system from attacking its own tissues. The Nobel Assembly at Sweden's Karolinska Institute said that their work has laid the foundation for a new field of research and opened the door to innovative treatments for conditions such as cancer and autoimmune diseases. The winners will receive 11 million Swedish crowns, roughly $1.2 million, along with a gold medal to be presented by the King of Sweden. The Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine is the first of the 6 Nobel categories to be announced. It will be followed by the Nobel Prize in Physics.
Assembly at Karolinska Institutet has today decided to award the 2025 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine jointly to Mary Branco, Fred Ramsdell, and Shimon Sakaguchi for their discoveries concerning peripheral immune tolerance.
The death toll from an Indonesian school collapse has risen to 63 as rescuers keep searching for more than a dozen still missing. Part of the multi-story building on Indonesia's Java Island collapsed suddenly last week as students gathered for afternoon prayers. Rescuers were still working round the clock in the rubble of the school to find more survivors. At least 13 people are said to be still missing. Investigators have been examining the cause of the collapse as well, but there are initial indications that suggest that substandard construction may have contributed to the incident. Bangladesh Nationalist Party leader Salahuddin Ahmed has said that those insisting on holding a referendum on the July Charter before the upcoming national election have an ulterior motive to delay the polls. The BNP leader made the remark while speaking at a discussion at the Jatia Press Club on Monday. Salahuddin said that a referendum on national issues can be held under the existing legal framework without amending the constitution. He also expressed hope that Bangladesh will soon hold a free and fair election that would ensure political stability. And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. No impact of US tariffs on the Indian economy yet, says national think tank Niti Aayog CEO. Heavy rains in Nepal take their toll, one hiker dead and 100 others rescued due to inclement weather near Mount Everest.
He is the first Indian to travel to the International Space Station. Group Captain Shukla, welcome to DD India.
Thank you so much.
What kind of preparation, mental, physical, emotional or psychological, went into your travel to and from space?
When you travel to space, you are essentially going and living in a place where life should not be.
What kind of adjustments to come back to your point, did you have to make to be able to live and work in space?
Blood shifts up to your head becomes bigger, your heart slows down because it doesn't have to push blood to your brain against gravity. All these changes happen. You don't feel hungry initially few days.
Similarly, you spoke to Prime Minister Modi of India during your time at the station. It would have been a proud moment for you, isn't it?
You imagine yourself being on the International Space Station, and you have your flag in your background, on your back, and you're speaking to your country's leader, and I think there is nothing more proud.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, India's Minister of Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal arrived in Doha to attend the Qatar-India Joint Commission on Trade and Commerce meeting aimed at enhancing bilateral economic cooperation. During his visit, the minister chaired key discussions and expressed his pleasure in meeting Sheikh Bandar bin Mohammed bin Saud Al Thani, Governor of the Qatar Central Bank and Chairperson of both the Qatar Investment Authority and the Current Financial Centre Regulatory Authority. Both the leaders held productive talks focused on expanding trade, boosting investment flows and strengthening financial collaboration between India and Qatar. India has reaffirmed its commitment to supporting democracy and stability in its neighbourhood. Addressing the media in New Delhi on Monday, India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri said India is closely monitoring the internal security situation in Bangladesh and firmly supports free, fair and peaceful elections there. He emphasized that India believes in the strength of democratic institutions and hopes to see a representative government emerge through the democratic process.
The internal situation in Bangladesh, we have all seen, for instance, the announcements and the statements. India is firmly in favor of free, fair, inclusive and participatory elections in Bangladesh, and it is in favor of these elections being held at the earliest possible time. We are encouraged by the fact that Bangladesh authorities themselves have spoken about a time frame for these elections, and we would look forward to these elections.
India's Chief Election Commissioner Gyanesh Kumar has announced that the Bihar Assembly elections will be conducted in 2 phases on the 6th and 11th of November. Counting of votes will take place on the 14th of the same month, determining the next legislative leadership of the state.
बिहार के चुनाव 2 फेजेस में होंगे। पहले फेज के डेट गैजेट नोटिफिकेशन 10 तारीख को आएगा, दूसरे का 13 को। लास्ट डेट ऑफ मेकिंग नॉमिनेशंस पहले फेज की 17 को होगी, दूसरे की 20 को। स्क्रूटनी 18 और 21। विड्रॉल की आखिरी तारीख 20 अक्टूबर और 23 अक्टूबर, और डेट ऑफ पोल 6 नवंबर थर्सडे और दूसरा 11 नवंबर ट्यूसडे। काउंटिंग 14 नवंबर को होगी और पूरी चुनावी प्रक्रिया 16 नवंबर तक समाप्त कर ली जाएगी।
India remains confident amid global trade uncertainties. Launching the Trade Watch quarterly data for the financial year 2025 in New Delhi, Niti Aayog CEO BVR Subramaniam said that US tariffs have so far not impacted the Indian economy. The Indian National Think Tank CEO also added that optimism remains high, with hopes that a potential trade deal by November will ensure continued stability and prevent any disruption to economic growth.
Both sides are still committed to having a trade deal. So discussions are on, negotiations have happened last month only. So I think both sides are hopeful. Our minister was also in the US. So I think the trade deal is what will actually finally resolve all issues, number one. Number two, it has not yet affected trade. Let me be very, very clear. And this is my own assessment, and this is assessment based on talking to people on the ground. The reason is, just as building trade channels is difficult, unwinding trade channels is also difficult. So people are locked into sellers and our chaps are locked into buyers there. These things are not disrupted overnight.
One hiker has died while hundreds of others had to be rescued as they were trapped by the weather near the eastern face of Mount Everest. More than 200 hikers were stuck after sudden heavy snowfall in China's northwest and western mountain regions over the weekend. On Sunday, 350 trekkers safely reached Kudang, a small township. The remaining 200 plus trekkers have been contacted and search efforts have been underway to locate other hikers in the region as well. The 93rd Air Force Day will be celebrated at Hindon Air Force Base on the 8th of this month. A full dress rehearsal took place at Hindon Air Force Station on Monday. Take a look at this report from the Hindon Air Force Station.
Weapons in hand and sharp movements, these air warriors are diligently preparing for Air Force Day on 8th of October. Due to inclement weather, the full dress rehearsal was held in the hangar itself. On this occasion, 97 air warriors will be honored, including 2 posthumously. 3 units will also be rewarded. The highlight of the ceremony will be Operation Sindoor. A static display of fighter aircraft will also be held on this occasion, including the MiG-21, Sukhois and Rafales. Vishal Baristow's report, DD India.
Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, a distinguished test pilot with the Indian Air Force and astronaut who recently became the first Indian to visit the International Space Station, spoke exclusively with the public broadcaster DD India. In a heartfelt message, Group Captain Shukla shared a powerful mantra for the youth of India, encouraging them to dream big, stay curious and work relentlessly towards excellence. Listen in.
Urge all the kids who are watching this. First, I've already given a message, dream big, stay curious. And third, I would say that, when we talk about Viksit Bharat 2047, sit down and think about it. Who is going to make it happen? You are the kids who are going to make it happen. Assume that responsibility, have accountability, say that it is your challenge, your dream, and work towards it. We all have to make this dream a reality, and that is my message to you.
Now, to watch the complete conversation with Group Captain Shukla, tune in to DD India at 8 p.m. IST tonight. Don't miss this inspiring exchange from space to studio. Now, let's get you some sporting updates as well. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated Indian para-athletes for their historic performances at the World Para-Athletics Championships. To quote him, a historic performance by our para-athletes. This year's World Para-Athletics Championships have been very special. The Indian contingent had its best ever performance, winning 22 medals, including 6 golds. Congrats to our athletes. Their success will inspire several people. I am proud of each and every member of our contingent and wish them the very best for their future endeavours. Hosting the tournament in Delhi has also been an honour for India. Gratitude to athletes and support staff from almost 100 nations who were part of the tournament. End quote. Another countdown has begun for the first National Summit on Accessibility in Delhi on Monday. The upcoming summit on accessibility by Swayam NGO will focus on 4 key areas: sports, tourism, transport and ICT. In an exclusive conversation with DD India's Narayan Singh, founder chairperson of Swayam, Sminu Jindal said Swayam's mission is to reform infrastructure and transportation systems to ensure access for all.
On 6 November, India's first National Summit on Accessibility will take place in New Delhi. And right now, I am joined by the founder chairperson of the Swayam, Sminu Jindal. I think 2000 you have just founded Swayam. And today it's been 25 years. So how you look, your vision has reached overall in terms of accessibility in society?
I actually started very early thinking that I will be able to make whole of India in a year's time accessible. Having said that, it's very, very heartening the way things are catching up, the way accessibility is given importance, specifically in the sports arena, and that's making our talk better. Therefore, we are bringing the culmination of how sports, tourism, transport and ICT, all 4 of them together, actually will create a more economically strong India.
Talking about recently, we saw that the World Para-Athletic Championship took place in at the JLN Stadium in Delhi, and India won 22 medals. And we saw your teams working round the clock, making the JLN a 100% accessible stadium. So, what were the challenges actually to make a stadium accessible, to make hotels accessible? Because more than 100 countries was participating and more than 1,000 athletes were there.
it's always very challenging to actually make things accessible. And that is why our endeavor is that at the time of planning itself, if we keep this crucial aspect in our minds, then things to be made accessible would not be such a difficulty. 100 countries coming, so obviously I think the hotels must have learned having just one accessible room in a hotel would really not cut the whole deal. There were so many people traveling, and we should. This is a basic human right, is accessibility, so that I can choose where I want to go, what I want to do, and be what I want to be.
And ma'am, you talked about that accessibility is not only for the people with different abilities, but it is also for the people suffering with old age and other reasons may be there. So the summit that is taking place next month on 6th of November, will be an agenda of that important summit?
For sure, because right now accessibility is only being looked upon as a disability topic, but actually it affects the whole 100% of population, because we all go through stages of temporary or permanent disability. Like you rightly said, as we grow older, as we go for a war and lose a limb, we have natural calamities enough road accidents, and human life in any case is very vulnerable. It's important to talk about and take care of accessibility before something untoward happens.
Definitely, the way things are happening, the way the NGOs and the teams like Swayam are working, definitely it will create more awareness, and such summits definitely will bring people to the forefront so that they can know that accessibility is not only for the people with different abilities, but for the people in general who are suffering with different problems at the different stages of life. With camera person Sumit, Narayan Singh, DD India, Delhi.
Well, that's all we have for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS. Just scan the QR code on the screen to download the app right away. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Gautam Royan from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.